Hello everyone, welcome to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we continue to follow the athletic program of the boys and the girls in the Tulsa Public Schools. A very interesting show I think we have for you today. We have two football coaches, two girls basketball coaches, two boys basketball coaches, and then we'll close the show with Gil Cloud, Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools, and all of that coming up right here on Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education?
What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job?
Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher.
You got the skills, the smarts.
Yes, you.
You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess?
What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
We continue Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard the head football coach at Booker T. Washington High School, Coach Brad Calip. And Coach Calip, you had a very good Friday night. That was a 40-0 win over Sand Springs, but the paper indicated 3,500 fans. That's got to make your team feel good.
Yes, I mean, it was an exciting atmosphere. It was senior night, and like I said, my seniors played well, and I couldn't ask for a better night as a head coach.
And you mentioned this the last time we had you on the program, and I think it's something that every coach would agree and maybe fans don't understand. But on a situation like that, where it's going to be homecoming and everything, and you were playing a ranked team in Sand Springs, sometimes that homecoming kind of, you just wonder, are the kids going to be all together? And they were on Friday night.
Yes, like I say, it was fall break, and we had school Monday and Tuesday, and of course, Wednesday, you got to get them out of bed, and Thursday you got to get them out of bed. So sometimes it can be a big distraction. But with our senior leadership, like I said, they went out and performed well, and we had quite a few seniors, I think 24. So it was just a joy to see those guys have a victory.
I think it's interesting to look that you are ranked number 1, and Sand Springs came in, and they were ranked, I think, number 8 or 9? Mm-hmm. And as a result of that, when you look at that score, it really makes you look good.
Yes, we start out very well, with Dwayne Cooks running like 94, 95 kickoff return back, so that helps a lot. And then on top of that, we ran an onside kick and got the ball back and scored after that. So we just kind of got on them quickly, and they just didn't know how to respond to it. But overall, I mean, our kids played very well for 4 quarters. And I'm kind of pleased with that, because you never know during a fall break when kids are out of school how they're going to perform.
And when you take a look at senior night, there's been times when kids don't play well. But your kids coming out and playing that has to be a tribute to you and your staff.
Yes, I mean, my staff does a great job of preparing, and I don't need to get all the credit, man. I have an awesome defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, and some assistant coaches that prepare those guys each week, and they do a great job. So we'll try to enjoy this for a little bit, but we got a big task in front of us this coming week with Bixby for the district championship. So we're gonna try to get prepared, and it's going to be a TV game, so we're excited about it.
Well, and we take a look at Bixby. I think they are ranked number 6, but I thought they were ranked number 1 when the season started, ahead of you.
Yeah, they were ranked number 1. We were ranked number 2.
And now you're number 1 and they're number 6. They beat Bartlesville Friday night, 37-21. And to be honest, I thought maybe they would beat them a little more than that, and maybe Bartlesville wouldn't get 26 points. But I know this for sure: when you go to Bigsby Friday night, we're going to see a football game.
Yes. Lauren Montgomery. I got the pleasure to coach with him at Jinx with Alan Trimble, and he does an outstanding job of preparing those guys. And when 6A2 originated 3 years ago, he barely made the playoffs and ended up winning it. So yes, it's going to be a game, that very intense TV game, and we're going to have to play very well for 4 quarters.
Now, looking at what's going to happen in the playoffs, because both of you are going to be in the playoffs, is there any way that you would have to play Bigsby before the finals, or will that work to where you would be on the opposite bracket of Bigsby?
If we win, probably on the opposite bracket, and
if you win,
yes, and they probably cross bracket over probably with Midwest City. We win it, we be in pretty good hands as far as the bracket goes, and let those guys play Midwest City and Putnam City, and kind of let us stay on this side. But yeah, it'll shoot them on the side. Cause last year we had to play Lawton the first round and put us on the other side, and those West Side teams, you really don't know much about them. And we went to Lawton, didn't know much about them, and man, it was a dogfight, and they were a pretty good team. So it's pretty tough on the East and West Side. So we're just looking for a win to kind of get a home field advantage that first round playoffs.
If you and Bigsby were to meet in the finals, do you know enough about what the OSSAA would do? Would that game come back to the Tulsa area, or will it be in Stillwater or Norman or somewhere?
I would think it would probably be at the University of Tulsa, just to kind of keep the people here, and I think it deserved to be close by where people can come here. So I think they'd keep it on this side of the state, probably University of Tulsa.
Brett, I know I had written a note that the very beginning in one of the programs that we had, you were talking about how your kids had nothing but state championship on their mind, and it seems to me they're really holding up to that.
Yes, I mean, our senior group, I mean, they took it pretty personal last year, getting beat by 1 point by Lawton, and like I said, over the summer, leading up to the season, they play with a chip on their shoulder, and they're fun to watch. They're very coachable, and they're on a mission. So we just got to just keep playing well and get past this game, and I always tell them that we're just shooting for November, December, because it's a new season, so that's what we're shooting for.
Well, Brad, I want to wish you the very best of luck, and hope to see you back here next week, and where you would be, or in 2 weeks where you'd be 8-1, but best of luck.
Well, thank you.
Stay with us, more coming up right after this.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education?
What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job?
Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher.
You got the skills.
The smarts.
Yes, you.
You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess?
What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
We continue inside Tulsa Athletics as we bring aboard the head football coach at McLain High School, Jarvis Payne. And Jarvis, when we take a look, you have the McLain team at 4-4. Having good points and bad points.
Yes.
So kind of tell us what you expect here in the last few games. Well, actually, we have, what, 2 games left?
2 games left. And, I mean, we still have a shot at the playoffs, and we're just going to go for it. I mean, we have number 3, Ulaga. I mean, our work is cut out for us. And then we have number 5, Catoosa. So we're just going to lace them up and pad up and go play and do the best that we can, you know, because we have a talented bunch. And we present some problems for people. So I'm sure that our guys will come out and compete really well.
You know, when you take a look at what is going on in other schools throughout really the state of Oklahoma, and the fact that they can go where they want to as an elementary, like a 7th grader, they can go to another school and not in their district. Are you having any problem maintaining your good athletes in the McLain district?
Well, if we can get them in the door, I think that's a lot of part of it. A lot of people want to put stereotypes on McLain and not having actually go into the building and see it. But the ones that do come in and see it, and it's not what people say it about McLain. McLain is a good school, and we're headed in the right direction. So once we get them in our building, I think they fall in love with McLain and stay.
Well, talk about this year's team, the players you have, the players you're going to lose. Now, I may be wrong, but it seems like you've had some real good games, and then you've had some bad games. So kind of maybe explain that.
We started off kind of rocky. I mean, we won a little bit, but it was mainly due to quarterback play, and we found our quarterback, and he actually got Abraham Calip. He's a junior, and he kind of provided that spark for us. And so we kind of got on a little bit of a roll there, and then we lost him for the season last week. So it kind of hurt our offense this week against Veneta, and so we kind of sputtered offensively, and that kind of made it hard for us to compete with the Veneta. But he'll be back next year. I think he provides a lot of energy and strength for us. We have some other seniors that are doing a good job for us as well. Trey Jones, the running back, he's averaging close to 100 yards a game. And we have Jeremy Lowe, who is a defensive back. He's up to 8 interceptions this year. So we've got some strength. And we also have Daneko Todd, another senior linebacker that's close to 100 tackles this year. So he's doing a really good job for us.
When you look on down the road, do you have some kids down, say, in the junior high that you feel like is going to stay and come and be a part of your McLain team?
I like the junior high team because they're inexperienced, but they bring some size that we need to compete in 4A3. I mean, that's kind of been what's been hurting us so far this year, is just having guys that are big enough with experience. And so I think that group is going to come along and really help us out next year.
And Jarvis, you mentioned 4A3. When you look at that district, I don't believe there is a tougher 4A district in the state of Oklahoma. When you take a look at Catoosa, Oologah, Wagner, Cassia Hall, my goodness.
And Veneta's not no slouch. They up and down. I mean, but there's no slouches. In Miami, they have numbers. You know, they bring a lot coming down from 5A. So it's tough in there.
Well, what do you see for the future? Do you feel like that what is happening this year and losing the quarterback, that's always a problem. But looking on into it, do you feel like that the attitude and the desire of the kids is going to be there for you?
Oh, that's a beautiful spot. Our kids are really growing up, and I like their emotion, and I like their dedicated and their willingness. Even in the summer pride and the workouts, they're starting to understand what it takes to compete at this level. And so I think another year of seasoning, another year of summer workouts and stuff, they'll be a lot more better for next year.
Does your staff contribute a lot and help in what you are trying to do at McLain?
Oh man, I have some awesome staff, and they really provide a lot. I brought in a new guy, Dolphin Davis, and he played at Booker T, so he understands what winning is all about, a college player. And my right-hand guy, Charles Granger, is my offensive coordinator. Man, that man spends hours. I mean, he's going to be a head coach one day, and he's an awesome guy, and the kids love him both, and they really help out a lot.
So when you have assistants like that, then the young kids coming up are more like to stay and be with you for what you have than it would be if they didn't like the assistant coaches.
Oh yes, I mean these guys bring in, they're just like extended family, and they are just like I am. You know, we're all about the kids and everything. I mean, from taking care of them, making sure they eat properly, make sure the grades are right. I mean, we do everything all together as a family, and so these guys are an extension of me. And like I said, I don't know where I'd be without them.
And when you mention McLain football, you have to think of Josh Jacobs, who is at the University of Alabama.
Yes, Josh he's a great guy, man, and like I said, I'm really proud of him, and he knows that already. But he comes back and helps out and talks to the kids and tell them what that next level is like, and he does a really good job. But not only Josh, but we have a couple of others that do. Nigel is at TU, and then we have a couple other guys that's done a really good job. So we've done really well at getting kids to that next level.
Well, we want to wish you the very best of luck and hope to have you back soon.
I sure will. I appreciate it.
Stay with us. We have more coming up right after this on Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Thanks for staying with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard the head girls basketball coach at Booker T. Washington High School, Rabu Leyva. And Rabu, when we take a look at what is going on in girls basketball and you at Washington High School going from Memorial, it's got to be exciting.
It's super exciting. I tell people all the time, Coach Kennedy laid such a great foundation at Booker T. Washington. My goal is just to build on top of that and continue a lot of the traditions that she has instilled in those kids. Hard work, excellence, paying the price. It's really a great place to be. The kids show up. They're excited to be there. I couldn't ask for more.
Well, you know, I have seen your practices at Memorial. I have seen your games at Memorial. And it seems like that the kids are so close to you, even when you may be correcting one of them in what someone might say is a rather angry manner. But nevertheless, it was just everyone stayed together. Are you having that same success at Washington?
You know, again, I'm very fortunate. I told the girls, thank you for letting them coach me. And they've been very open to me. They've received me well. And what I try to do is try to build that relationship and give them freedom to fail. Hey, try something. Let's talk about why it didn't work. And I think when there's dual buy-in, the kids can receive that correction, because it's not just me telling you, hey, do this. It's us working together, try to get to that common goal. So the girls have been great. They're working hard. We're high-fiving. I'm getting on to them just like I did the girls at Memorial. Loads of fun. I can't complain.
The practices have been good, and you feel like you're getting 100% effort out of the kids?
I think the practices have been great. The kids will run through a wall for you. I think what they're trying to figure out is, how do I do things? And it may be different than Coach Kenny, it may be the same, but they're learning my terminology. They're trying to figure out, what does Coach want? When Coach says, shoot, what shot does he want? What's important to me? And they're figuring those things out, and that always happens, with a new team. But the girls have been great, and the girls they've won, so they want to continue winning. So they understand what it takes to be a winner, and they're willing to do what you ask them to do.
Could you talk about some of the starters and some of the prospects that you have that's coming back that is going to be contributing?
Oh, would love to. Armani Reed, she's being recruited by Louisville, by TU. She's a sophomore, super athletic.
A sophomore?
Sophomore, super athletic, long, active. She started probably 50% of the games last year for Coach Kennedy. She's on a lot of coaches' radars that come to our practices, so you'll be hearing about her. Kaylin Richardson is a senior. I believe she started 3 out of her 4 years at Booker T. Washington. She's really the leader and the spirit behind the team. She'll be playing point guard for us, about 5'8", big guard. We're expecting big things out of her. We have 2 of our returning guards that both suffered ACL injuries, but should be back around Christmas time, and that's Reese Anderson and Cameron Fennell. And both those girls, super quick, great handle. They're going to make me look good a lot of nights. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, what kind of prospects do you have coming on? Because as a head coach, you're always looking down to who is coming up, who's going to be here next year, year after next, and the year after that.
Yeah, we have a great freshman group. It's not super big, maybe 7 or 8 girls, but out of those 7 or 8, probably 3 or 4 are going to see varsity time for us this year. And I always try to use that to get them ready. So by their sophomore year, they're ready to go. They know what it looks like. They know what preparation it takes to be a varsity player. Because as you know, it's a big difference. You go from middle school basketball, practicing 2 or 3 days a week, to every day, shoot around on Saturday, game time. So that just that commitment level. So the future looks bright for Booker T basketball.
Well, talk about your schedule.
Well, obviously playing in Tulsa Public School schedule, but also going to Westmore tournament, going to Sepulpa tournament, going to Jinx Union tournament. So in all three of those tournaments, playing 6A teams, very strong 6A teams, 5A teams, really getting us ready for the state tournament. So what we try to sell the girls on is obviously we want to win, but we want to get better and learn each and every time we play, so the playoffs aren't a shock to us. We know how to play zone teams. If teams want to try to slow us down, how are we going to handle that? If teams want to try to speed us up, how do we handle that? So I think Coach K has done a great job of getting us in tournaments that can prepare us for the state tournament.
And you feel like that this is what it's going to be like, that when the kids come out of that, they are going to be ready.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I think even coming out of Jinx Union tournament in late January, heading towards February and March, we're going to be seasoned and ready to give it our best effort, and that's all you can really do.
You know, I think as a coach that as you get ready to open the season, that sometimes there's a player or two or maybe three that at the very beginning they didn't get your particular attention, but now they do. Did you have any of those?
You know, I can't lie to you. This freshman group that has come in, you know, you never know in Tulsa who's going to come. It's always it's like Christmas.
Yep.
You open the present, you hope it looks good. But our freshman group, Cy, we got a girl from Montecasino. We have some different girls that are going to come in, and they really are working hard. They're buying into the program. So I think those girls have a chance to really make a difference in the long term.
Rabu, we always enjoy visiting with you because you're so open in what you tell us, and we look forward to having you back, and I look forward to watching you play.
Oh, the feeling is mutual.
Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. More coming up right after this.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
We continue Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard the head girls basketball coach at Hale High School, Wes Hamilton. And Wes, always a pleasure having you aboard.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, tell us a little bit about the girls at Hale. Now, this is your first year at Hale? And,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I know as a first-year coach, I don't care who you are, you do things a little different than the person did for you. Sometimes they accept them, sometimes you got to sell it.
Right.
But how's it going at Hale with the girls?
Well, so far, the kids are buying in, getting the seniors to buy in as well. They've come around a little slowly, but they're starting to buy in. I think they're going to have an opportunity to win some games. Anytime you go into a different school, and the kids are so used to their old coach and the old ways of doing things, and getting them to do things what I would consider the correct way. Mm-hmm. These kids need fundamentals, and we're working fundamentals right now. And I say at this time next year, we'll be a pretty good little team. I think looking at our schedule, there's some games on there that I think we can actually win, and we just got to stay with the fundamental basketball right now.
You know, you mentioned the schedule that in girls basketball, when you play everybody in Tulsa and those around, that's a tough schedule.
Yes, it
so
is. Yes,
it's not going to be easy.
No.
But from a fundamental standpoint, do you feel that the kids are improving?
Yes, they have improved quite a bit. At practice, they've cut turnovers down. They're still turning over, but they're cutting them down. They're making layups. They're shooting the ball better. I've been really excited here the last week or so at my practices, and I think that just watching them improve, they've improved so much. And I talk to them about expectations, going to the game, not hoping to win, but expecting to win.
That's good.
And so I'm feeding that. Hey, we got to play to win. We got to do what we got to do. You know, it doesn't matter where you've been. It doesn't matter if you haven't won a game in 3 years. We're going to win games this year, and this is what I'm preaching to them every day.
At Hale High School, do you have a feeder program? Because I know every coach is looking down the road.
Yeah,
How about the feeder program?
I actually went down and met the junior high coach, and I'm going to be going into their practices and watching them and helping out where I'm needed. And I've also invited him to come up and help out as well. I really want to build this relationship with the junior high school in order for, because this year I have no kids that come from the junior high school to even come out for the team. No kids whatsoever. So definitely got to get into the feeder school and try to help build that program there. In order to build our high school, we have to build the feeder school and the feeders that feed into the feeder school.
And once you get that going, then they draw kids, and kids that wouldn't be participating, they see the success and the fun and the pride that develops.
Right.
So it has to go down there, doesn't it?
It's no secret. Nobody wants to play if you're losing. That's just real, you know. So is it going to be tough? Of course, but that's why I took the job, because I know I can make a difference.
And that's what makes it fun.
It is fun.
Well, we'll talk about your schedule.
Well, we'll play Memorial and then East Central. And so, but one of the good things that I was able to do is to get, we're going to have a scrimmage with East Central at some point, and that's going to help us get ready for the Memorial game. And it'll kind of be our measuring stick to see how far we come when we do get East Central. I mean, they're the champs. You want to scrimmage the best. So you want to true measuring stick, then that's who you need to scrimmage with. So
when you take a look at your kids, are they looking at it as you are looking? Do you feel like that you have accomplished from a mental standpoint that the kids now are believing what you're teaching?
I say about 90% of the kids have really truly bought in. I'm preaching college, education, academics. I mean, as far as all the academic part, I don't have a problem with that. They're buying into that. They're making grades. I have an assistant coach that tutors on Mondays, so they can leave practice and go straight to tutoring on Mondays. She don't even have to come up as long as she's tutoring those kids. I'm talking to different colleges. I've got 3 seniors that should go to school somewhere, and so we're talking about getting them ready to go play college ball, and definitely going to be a lot of work. It goes back to, again, making sure that they're fundamentally ready to play ball.
And you feel like the kids now are really buying into it?
Yes, I do. I like I say, I expect us to win some games. I do.
Well, in talking to you before we came on the air, you seem to be very happy with everything that's going on. Yeah. I think that covers over into the kids.
Right.
And if they're happy and believing, why, maybe they won't win a state championship, but they'll bring home a lot of W's.
You best believe we're going to try to get one of those.
I can understand that, Wes. Well, listen, we want to wish you the very best of luck. Look forward to having you back on Inside Tulsa Athletics, and after completing a winning tournament someplace early.
Right. I'll tell you what, when we get that first win, you're taking me to dinner.
Okay. Stay with us. More coming up on Inside Tulsa Athletics.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework. He hates homework. I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's just gotta try a little harder.
1 in 5 children struggle with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to understood.org.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
We continue inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard the head basketball coach at Rogers High School, David Winton. And David, always a pleasure having you aboard. First year at Rogers High School, and I'm sure that you have things going your way as we approach the opening of basketball season.
We are. We're very excited to get started this year.
Kind of give us your background so our audience will know that you just didn't walk in off the street, that you've had a good background.
I did. I started off with a gentleman named Henry Rowland Beggs. He gave me an opportunity to intern underneath him. From there, I went to Kellyville for 5 years. Johnny Castillo gave me an opportunity to start there. My wife and I, we like to travel. We're well traveled. We get excited to go to new places. We ended up at the northeast corner of Oklahoma at Grand Lake, called a little place called Fairland. We were there 2 years, and then had an opportunity to work for Mark Hudson down at Preston for 2 years. Moved up the highway to Mounds. Knew a gentleman I played ball against when I was at Kellyville. His name was Tim Wright. He invited me to go to Manford for 5 years. And then the last 6 years we've been in the Claremore area, and 4 of those have been with Larry Grigg at Claremore Sequoia.
Well, you have been around some good basketball coaches.
Yes.
And some good basketball players, some great teams.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's take a look now at Rogers. What do you have coming back from last year? Kind of talk about the kids who started. Are they going to be starting for you? And just the returning lettermen and any new players that you have.
We have a few returning players. My senior point guard, Rico Lewis, is a returning player. I also have another senior, Demario Owens. He was a 365 guy. He's going to help us out tremendously this year, probably one of the quickest players I've ever coached. I have a junior, Avery Hill. He's able to stretch the defense out. And then our postman, our glue guy, is Deshaun Larimore. He's a junior. And for a gentleman his size, he is impressive how he passes the ball and shares the ball around.
David, I think it's always interesting when you talk to coaches that as a new coach, you are doing things that the coach that you followed was not doing. We never do everything the same. How has the Roger Roper's kids accepted your philosophy of basketball?
Man, they're just gym rats. They're hungry for success. I think it's time for Rogers to be relevant in the conference again, and they're buying into that. We are going to play a very unique style. Ours is heavily based upon the Princeton offense, but we were able to incorporate most of the modern philosophies in offense, and the kids have just bought right into it.
Are you, the transition basketball, to me, has just taken over. Are you pretty much on the transition side?
We're going to have to transition. We're probably not going to be the largest team in TPS. Definitely not the largest or most athletic team in 5A. We are going to try to score early, but if not, then of course we're going to be in that 4-guard, 1-post set, and we're going to. If you want to give us a backdoor cut, we'll sure take that. If not, we're going to spread you out by shooting a 3, and then if that doesn't work, then we're going to rotate into mismatches. That's what the kids are really starting to buy into, is a mismatch opportunity. But we will share the ball, and the kids have been doing a great job about doing that.
You know, it's always so much fun when you go in as a new coach for the first year, and when the kids begin to buy in to what you want them to do. Now, talk about your schedule, who you play, because your schedule was made. You had nothing to do with the schedule and the tournaments that you're going to.
Sure. Of course, we play the TPS schools, which that's the main reason, you know, I wanted to get into the coaching in this area, was because there's going to be a great game every night, great athletes. Outside of that, we're going to go to Hilldale, we go to Oologah, and we go to NEO for our tournaments.
And NEO is always
a blast.
It's one of the, I think, one of the oldest high school invitational tournaments in the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah, and our kids are so excited for that. They tell me how much fun they have, and I guess they get to stay overnight there. So I think they always look forward to that.
And that's always a good place, I think, that NEO has, that they might get some good basketball players there. Well, talking about basketball players, give us the kids that you really feel like are going to make the greatest contribution this year.
Well, first of all, I'm impressed with our postman. He's a 6'4" junior. His name is Deshaun Larimore. Again, very high IQ basketball. Has the ability to pass the ball as good as a guard. Handles the basketball very well for a man that's his size. He's going to be what they call an X factor. He's going to be hard to match. He can spread you out and shoot the 3. He's a big enough body where he can wear you out down low on a post, and plus if you're open, he's going to find you. He'll do a great job.
Do you see that maybe some of the schools that you have played before, will there be a different attitude for the kids as they play them? I know in looking that many times that kids will not come to the front like they should. Do you feel these kids will come to the front?
Yes, because all their friends are TPS kids. I guess AU ball. Mm-hmm. They know the kids probably better than I do, especially through watching film and things like that. So they know exactly what they're getting into, and they know exactly what they'd like to get done this year.
David, we appreciate you being with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. Want to wish you the very best, and we'll be watching you play this winter.
Thank you.
Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. We have more coming up right after this.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard the head basketball coach as well as the Dean of Students at East Central High School, Lynwood Wade. And Lynwood, always a pleasure visiting and talking with you and doing 2 jobs at East Central. That's full time, isn't it?
It is. It's actually overtime, in my opinion. But you know, we have a good system over there as well as for the discipline. And this is my 5th year over there as the head boys basketball coach, and I think I got another good system in place for my kids to flourish over there and be good athletes.
Well, I think our audience would enjoy hearing, as the head basketball coach, as the Dean of Students, do you ever have any conflict there with the 2?
I do not, because being the Dean of Students, for one, if one of my kids are doing something, I'm the first to know and not the last to know as if you were a coach and they handle it internally as far as discipline. But I don't think it's a conflict of interest, because what we do separate from gym is separate for what we do in the school.
Now, how do you do the Dean of Students without having a conflict with coaching at one time or another?
It's because we have a rubric there where every kid is on a behavior plan, and it doesn't matter if you play basketball, if you play soccer. Behavior is behavior, and if you step out of line, you're going to be held accountable. So that's why it's no conflict of interest.
Well, let's take a look at what you have coming back this year. Now, I think everyone should know that because of the student enrollment at East Central, soccer has become a very, very interesting sport for so many of them. It's cut down on the number you have. But how does it look this year in basketball?
Actually, the numbers are pretty good. I got every kid that I wanted to get from my feeder program except for one, and that's how you stabilize a program. You know, having the coaches down there teaching what you're teaching, so when they come up, you just build on that platform that they already receiving at the junior high level.
Well, then this year, you're going to have underclassmen mostly.
I will. I'm going to have only 1 senior, I believe 3 juniors, and the rest are freshmen and sophomores. I mean, I even got a couple of freshmen that might end up playing some varsity basketball. I'm thinking now, do I let them play freshman ball, or do I just move them to JV? because I mean, I want to fast track them. I want to get them the experience. So if it's time to step up and play after break, I mean, when it's time to win some games, then they'll be ready.
And you know, that's a decision sometimes that a lot of fans think they can make. But as a coach, what you just said is so important. You don't want to move them up too quick, but you want to move them up if they're ready. And sometimes it's very difficult to tell. But also, that means that in the future at East Central, you're going to have some good players coming.
Exactly, because I mean, we had some previous good years. We made it to state last year and the year before. I mean, we got some good kids, and we graduated some good kids, and the kids that are coming up, I got a freshman that he can play. I mean, and you're right, having that decision to make, whether I pull him off a freshman and let him play JV and varsity, I think he'll get more out of it playing JV and varsity than he would playing freshman games.
And especially if they're winning, they will bring that winning attitude along. And many times a younger player may play his heart out, but just not good enough to win the games that maybe you should win. So there's a lot of thinking that has to be done there. And I know one thing, as a coach, you'll do the right thing.
Exactly, and it's just maturing. You know, when you make mature decisions as an athlete, as a student athlete, I mean, you grow, especially if you're playing against kids that you're better than versus playing the kids that push you or a little bit better than you. That gives those younger kids some goals.
When you take a look at what you have coming up, do you have much of input into the feeder program, the kids that say are in grade school that will come into East Central High School? What do you have in that area?
Well, TPS is, as far as grade level at the younger age, is pretty much open until they get to junior high, I believe. But once they hit my feeder school, I could actually go down and talk to them and, you know, tell them about me and tell them about our program and tell them about the educational side that we offer at East Central that people from the outside may not realize that we have those programs.
And Lynwood, you mentioned this a few minutes ago. You're very interested in the academic success of the kids who play ball for you. It's not just basketball, but there's academics in there as well. And you've had a lot of success in that area.
Yes, it is. Because if you don't have the academic side, you can't play the other side, which whatever sport that might be, basketball, football. So grades are very important, especially if you don't go play sports in college, you can also go to college, especially with Oklahoma Promise. For some of the kids that are on that program, they get to go to college for free.
In your 5 years at East Central, has the academic area increased?
It has. We went from 9 AP courses to, I believe, like 27 AP courses. So even Tulsa Tech is in the building now. So we're making great strides.
Lynwood, it's always a pleasure having you aboard on Inside Tulsa Athletics. Best of luck. Hope to see you again in the future.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. More coming up right after this.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework. He hates homework. I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
1 in 5 children struggle with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to understood.org.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard the Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools, Gil Cloud. And Gil, when we take a look at what is happening in the field of athletics, it just seems like there's something new coming about every time that we look up. And as we look at Tulsa, how about all of the new coaches that you have, and how do you become a coach in Tulsa?
I tell you what, JB, that's one of the things that obviously with budget cuts, is a great concern because, we lose teaching positions, which means we lose coaching positions in some cases, and yet we still have the same expectation for those teams, and we still have basically the same numbers coming out for those teams. So we need the same number of coaches that we had before, but now we have less teaching jobs. And what's happened to us is that we've had to get into what we call adjunct coaches. These are coaches that are not necessarily employed by the school district. However, they do come in every day at 4:30 or 4 o'clock or 3:30 or whenever to coach one of our 19 sports that we have here at TPS. So consequently, it makes it a full-time job almost in keeping up with the number of coaches that we have. Because of budget reductions, in 2012 we had 403 coaches. Today we have 330. So we've lost about 70 individuals in our program. Over the past 2 years, we've cut 112 teams and 160 coaching positions. So we still have teams, and we still have coaches, and we still have kids that need to be coached. So we've had to go the adjunct way to be able to find enough people to fill the staffs, that we have in the various sports. That becomes a critical thing for us because there are certain criteria that's established by the State Department of Education, by the OSSAA, and by the Tulsa Public School District. And so to go through that process, let me just kind of take through the steps and you can see what it takes. First of all, we got to have a desire to coach and teach. We want someone who wants to be with those kids, they're there for the right reasons, not for self-glorification, but to help a youngster move on in their career in athletics. Secondly, that person then needs to meet with the athletic director and the principal at each of the 20 secondary schools we have, the 9 high schools and the 11 middle schools. Once they meet with those two people, and those people think this is somebody they would like to have on their coaching staff, they sign off on their coach's information sheet. We will not start any process that does not have the principal and AD signature on that. I want the people in those buildings know who's coming to their campus to coach their kids. And if they don't sign off on them, we don't talk to them. So now we've done that. The first thing we ask you, do you have care and prevention of athletic injuries? That's a State Department regulation, period. You have to have it. We actually, when our accreditation officer comes in, that's the first thing he asks for. Not can you teach biology or can you teach physics. Do you have care and prevention? Because if you don't have that, you can't coach. You can't be on the field with those kids. So if you haven't had that, then we'll tell you where you can go get that. And sometimes it's a TCC, sometimes it's a summer boot camp, but there are courses that you can take to get your care and prevention. Okay, if you have care and prevention, now we're going to tell you that you need to have a background check and a drug test. And you have to pass both of those. We don't need any outstanding warrants, and we don't want a positive drug test. So now you've passed that. Now you get to our meeting in August, the first Friday in August, where we have the entire staff in, and we show the videos for sudden cardiac arrest, concussion, heat, and if you're a new coach, you have to take fundamentals of coaching if you haven't coached for a minimum of 3 years. That's all through the National Federation and the OSSAA. Now we get down, the last step is your compliance test. 6 years ago, Mick Wilson and I sat down and said, we want to know that our coaches at least know where the rules are and where they need to go to look for them if they don't know where the rules are. And so we devised a compliance test. And to make sure that the test was in the right frame, wording and context, we had the executive director and the associate director take the test over the phone with us. And we went through to make sure the verbiage was correct and everything. Our coaches take that every year. And we make a few changes based on rules changes and everything. You pass that, then we make a recommendation to the Board of Education that you can be a coach in TPS.
And once you become a coach and have gone through that, you're going to be a pretty good teacher.
We hope so. We certainly hope so.
But you know that in saying that, and we're about to run out of time, Gil, but over the years, I think most good coaches are good teachers.
There's no question about it. They use the same principles that they use in the classroom, on the field, to get their kids ready to play.
Gil, don't run away. We want to come back and visit with you about the OSSAA, and we want you to stay with us as you watch it from home, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we continue visiting with Gil Cloud, Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools. And Gil, that was a great information that you passed on to us about Tulsa Public Schools and the teachers and what you have to be able to coach. That's a lot of people I don't think understand that. But now let's go into something else. OSSAA, and you have that on every show. There's something new coming about in OSSAA.
You know, the rules compliance portion of our job is pretty meaningful for us because we emphasize that we're going to follow the rules. Irregardless of what people think. We've got to go by the rules, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. But a week ago we had one of the regional meetings. They have 11 regional meetings across the state every October, and we always host one here in Tulsa for all the Tulsa metro area people. We had about 100 people in the room, and principals, superintendents, athletic directors, some coaches, and of course Mr. David Jackson, the executive director of the Activity Association, and Todd Dilbeck and Todd Goolsby, two of his assistants, came with him. And we had about 6 or 7 things they presented. And so I'd like to go through those and kind of throw those out so the public kind of knows what we're being asked to consider this spring in some referendum voting. One of the heads up that they gave us, the first item they discussed was the copyright compliance. There seems to be 2 watchdog groups in the United States that are now going school by school. And when you play music during timeouts, and you play music pre-game and post-game, if you don't have a license, you can be fined for illegal use of music without a license. And the National Federation has weighed in on this. Our Activity Association has weighed in on it. The Activity Association in Oklahoma has asked, can they buy a blanket license for all of their schools? Because you know, as long as you coach and as long as I've been in this business, you don't have dead air. You want to have, if there's not play, you got to have music going. Well, to be able to play those songs right now would be a violation of this licensure. So we're all on pins and needles as to who's going to get arrested for playing music at halftime. Coach to Coach program is a new program that the OSSA is doing for first and second year coaches to have a mentor coach, someone who has 10 or more years of experience as a coach, to mentor that coach when he has an issue or she has an issue that she doesn't know exactly how to handle. How would you do this? And have a phone call. They do a 4-hour session at the summer clinic where they bring them in and those coaches can ask any questions they want, and then that's where they get hooked up with their mentor coach. And that person stays with them that whole year via telephone or email or text message, Instagram or Facebook or whatever, but they can relate to one another. So Coach to Coach is one of them. Sportsmanship is a tremendous thing that is really going across the country because sportsmanship has waned somewhat, and the OSSA will have observers now at our games, unannounced, just to observe, not to evaluate and not to be critical, but to observe and then send a message the next day. We saw this, we saw that, or you did a great job with this or that, but we're really emphasizing that through the OSSAA. One of the big things, you know, the big house, the fairgrounds, where the 4A and below state championship has always been, may be in jeopardy as a site, because now the county area in Oklahoma County, the county commissioners who run the fairgrounds there, have indicated they're going to start charging to park.
To park?
For the state championship, anywhere from $5 to $10. We don't know what that cost is. So the Activity Association may be looking for another place. Implementation of the dead period, and that's the big one, and probably finish up with that. The implementation of the dead period is something that came out in our Constitutional Committee. What we're talking about right now, putting to a vote in the spring, is from July 1 to July 14, no coach, no facility that school owned or whatever can be used, and no coach who is employed by the school district can be with a player for those 14 days of dead period, and that will be statewide. That'll be interesting. It'll be controversial, I'm sure.
Yes, it will.
Because the one caveat put with that, from the end of school to June 30th, you can have 1 hour of practice a day, full practice. So that's going to be one that the compliance people are going to have trouble with.
Well, I tell you what, we could talk about this for a long time, and I know you could. A lot of responses there was coming out that I wanted to ask, but time will not allow us. We have just a few seconds, but always a pleasure having you aboard, Gil, and what you give out to our listening audience is something they need to know.
Well, we hope they enjoy that information and can help us with that compliance.
Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. More coming up right after this.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Thanks for being with us today on Inside Tulsa Athletics. Hope you enjoyed the show. And more importantly, we want to encourage you to get out and support the girls and the boys athletic programs of the Tulsa Public Schools. In doing so, you will find that it will help so many young people. And we invite you to join us again right here in 2 weeks for more Inside Tulsa Athletics.